Hello everyone, have a brand new knife for you today. Today we're going to take a look at the Hogue MICRO Incursion. Now this is another small California legal auto knife, and while Hogue makes the knife, it is also marketed under the HK brand, so I guess we can call it the HK Hogue MICRO Incursion. Now the arrival of this knife on the marketplace does get me excited for the direction that California legal autos are going in. I say that because the market for these autos has been expanding, and we have nearly a plethora of choices in the side opening auto market for California. But for OTF knives, the choices have been slim pickings, almost every offering coming from Microtech. Now, Hogue has taken a step in the right direction to change this. So we have here a USA-made OTF knife directly intended for the California market, and we can take a closer look at the HK Hogue MICRO Incursion. First off, we see that the handle length, it comes in at 3 inches. So when the blade is open, the overall length will be a bit less than 5 inches of overall length. The blade is a drop point made of 154 cm steel. And I think it's important to mention this because I have seen the knife advertised as CPM 154, which is a really easy and honest mistake to make when listing the knife for sale. But thankfully the blade is clearly marked so you know exactly what you're getting here. Since this is the first run of the knife, as expected we have black aluminum handles, but I would expect that in the future we might see some more exotic colors coming to this knife, especially based on what Hogue has already offered out there for their autos. It looks like the pocket clip is both reversible and deep carry, so you have a few different options to carry it with you. With a knife this small, it can also easily fit in your pocket, and I think that's really some of the appeal of these tiny California legal auto knives. You know, the weight of this knife is advertised at 1.5 ounces, so let's take a quick see and check out the actual weight. Very comparable to the Microtech UTX-70 at this weight. So of course, this is a perfectly serviceable, functional knife, but the really compelling reason to buy this blade is the price. Prior to seeing this knife arrive on the scene, your options for a California legal OTF were, again, mostly limited to Microtech, and when it comes to price, you're going to be paying well over $200, hopefully not quite $300 for one of their very coveted autos. But here, Hogue comes in at less than half the price of its closest direct competition. So the price alone is really what makes this knife revolutionary in the marketplace, and it shows since it arrived. You know, it goes in and out of stock within hours of going live at any dealer. So eventually the supply may catch up to the demand, but seeing as how that was almost never been the case with Microtech autos, we're going to have to wait and see on that. What I really want to see now, however, is how the other knife manufacturers respond. I think Hogue has really taken a shot across the bow, so to speak, and I think it would really behoove the marketplace for companies like Kershaw and Boker to come in and join the fray. Because could you imagine a Kershaw launch knife that's an OTF? That would be pretty incredible. And if you've seen the recent Boker Kalashnikov OTF, now that's a full-size knife, but can you imagine them reworking that into a California legal auto? I could. Competition is really a beautiful thing in the marketplace, and I'm glad somebody's finally stepped up to kind of challenge Microtech on this front. Now, just as I recommended in my last Microtech video, how and where do you get a hold of one of these knives once you happen to be interested? They are mostly out of stock everywhere as I film this, but here are my suggestions. Of course, you can check the bigger knife dealers out there, your BladeHQs, your knife centers, but also use Google to your advantage. Just do a search of micro incursion. You know, use the quotation marks around it so that you can narrow out any sites that also are listing the full-size incursion and the bigger mini incursion. So you can likely find some smaller knife dealers that can have it in stock. And so, of course, do your research on where you spend your money because you got to make sure those dealers are legitimate. A lot of these smaller knife dealers have websites that are, you know, they're kind of basic, so they don't look as polished as other sites do. This knife here, for instance, I did purchase it from Adams International Knife Works. They left me this awesome sticker, and it was a good experience overall. It was my first purchase there. Had been eyeing their website for a while since they do stock a lot of really nice automatic knives. But I did some research on various knife forums, made sure they're legit before handing over my information. So definitely good luck to anyone out there who's looking to find this or looking to find that Microtech you've been interested in. Just have patience. Have patience. The knives will come back. It'll pay off in the end. But let's do a side-by-side comparison between the HK here and the Microtech UTX70 and the Mini Troodon. So we have two Microtechs, the UTX70 as well as the Mini Troodon. And so this one kind of fits right in the middle comparison-wise, and let's take a closer look why. Because when we hold these two up, the UTX70 and the Micro Incursion, let's just hold them up size-wise. Look at those blade shapes. Very similar drop point shaped blade. Very similar finish. And the knife body itself, the Micro Incursion here, is similar in overall size to the UTX70, but a bit wider. So it kind of fits a middle ground between the UTX70 and the Mini Troodon. So take a look at that size gap right there. It's like the Goldilocks of these three knives. So that's kind of neat to see. You can see the pocket clip difference. We have a generic Microtech pocket clip with the clasp breaker, as well as a deep carry option for the Hogue. I like the deep carry option. It does not have a glass breaker like we see here, but again, on a knife this small, the glass breaker might do you more harm than good, to be honest with you. So the finish on the aluminum is definitely a bit shinier on the Microtech. I do appreciate the grip they added to the Hogue, and that is similar to what we see on the Mini Troodon. You can take a look at that. Gosh, this really does fit just right in between these two models. One improvement though, and I'm glad they put this on the HK Hogue MICRO Incursion, is the actual difference in this thumb ramp right here. So when I pull it closed and open, look at the difference in the shape between these two. With the Microtechs, it's just like a pyramidal shape. It's equal on both sides, which is fine if your knife has a really nice action like this one does. But my UTX70 has always been a bit harder to get open and closed. And so what I appreciate with the Hogue is that to open it, we have this nice steep ramp to reach through. Push it open, and then when I want to close it, which is going to be the harder action on my thumb, it's also this nice steep grip ramp right there. Easy, easy, easy to open and close. So the overall action, to be honest, it feels a little grittier than what we have in the Microtechs. Could definitely be something that smooths out over time. But when it comes to price on these knives, I mean, is the action really, worth more than double the price? I'm not so sure about that. Do I regret buying the Microtech? Not at all. But this Micro Incursion makes a great case for a budget California legal OTF knife. So really cool to see these knives all side by side. Now, of course, I'm not here to argue that Hogue is better than Microtech, because I don't think they are in the big picture. But I always like to show off different options for potential buyers out there so you guys can know what you're getting into. So if you have any other questions about these three knives or any of the knives you've seen in my prior videos, feel free to let me know. Happy to share all that information with you. But until then, have a nice day, everybody. Bye-bye.